Top 10 curious and fun facts about Area 51. Number 1. A road like no other. Nevada State Route 375 doesn't sound particularly enticing as a tourist spot, but extraterrestrial highway, that sounds like fun. In 1996, the state, to coincide with the release of the movie Independence Day, renamed Nevada State Route 375 to the Extraterrestrial Highway because it passes by Area 51. There are quirky rest stops all along the 98-mile stretch of road. At the intersection of the Extraterrestrial Highway and US 93 is the E.T. Fresh Jerky restaurant. Inside, there's a mural that depicts an alien-style Wild West scene complete with alien cowboys. Further down the road, there's an Alien Research Center gift shop with its enormous alien statue standing guard. And at the town called Rachel, with its 40 inhabitants, there's a quirky and eccentric cafe called the Little A-Leon, full of kitsch and memorabilia, and locals eager to share their stories of alien experiences. Number 2. Not quite what they said. Many claims have been made about what was really going on at Area 51. The most popular ones were promoted in Annie Jacobson's book, Area 51, An Uncensored History. During her research, she'd interviewed a number of retired personnel who had worked at the base. She claimed that they had told her about secret work on reverse engineering alien technology, and that the base had numerous flying saucers hidden in underground tunnels. Unfortunately, many of the interviewees subsequently said that she'd misrepresented them and their views. Reverse engineering of technology was going on, but it was the reverse engineering of Soviet technology following the capture of MiG jet fighters during the Cold War of the 1970s and 80s. They accepted that there were secret underground tunnels, but that they were associated with the Project Nerva nuclear research program conducted near Area 51 at a location called Jackass Flats. And the flying saucers? The indignant interviewees said that there was a vehicle dubbed the Ox Cart, which was a circular, fuel-carrying pod that admittedly did resemble a stereotypical flying saucer. 3. Closed? Really? Area 51 was officially abandoned in 1997 after the launching of the U-2 spy plane. So it came as a bit of a surprise that a highly advanced surveillance drone was shown to the public at Area 51 in 2014. In 2011, the Iranian military had captured an RQ-170 drone and had begun to reverse engineer it. The American military officials were not overly worried as they were dissatisfied with its quality and performance. Their new model, the RQ-180, was unveiled in 2014, correcting problems with the earlier model's aerodynamics. It was able to stay aloft for 24 hours with a range of over 1,200 miles and was extremely maneuverable. The RQ-170 drone, in contrast, had a maximum limit of just 6 hours and its guidance system was unreliable. Quite a result for a research facility that had allegedly been closed down 20 years earlier. Number 4. Don't mess with Goliath. We've all heard the biblical story about plucky David and his battle with Goliath. Unfortunately, in reality, it's usually Goliath who wins. In 1880, the Shahan family acquired mining rights for a location near Area 51's testing runway. But, they claim in the 1950s, they started being harassed. They said that aeroplanes strafed their property and on several occasions they were held at gunpoint in their own home. They also said that the mine was rendered useless, having been polluted with radiation through nuclear testing at Area 51, and in 1954 they claimed that their mine had been firebombed by the Air Force. To avoid a court appearance, the government offered them $5.2 million for their land, but they refused, and a few months later, after the offer had expired, the 400 acres of land was allegedly seized. Number 5. Lucky breakdance. The BBC has a reputation of being highly sensible and respectable and not given to silly pranks. This reputation hit the dirt in 2012, or more accurately, its reporters did. A BBC camera crew attempted to break into Area 51. They were rather disappointed as, to begin with, all they found was nothing of any interest. So to pass the time and have something for the cameras to record, they performed silly alien-style dances. Within minutes, they found themselves held at gunpoint and for 3 hours forced to lie face down in the dirt. After background checks were completed, they were allowed to go. Bearing in mind the warnings that are on the signs around the base, threatening arrest, fines and imprisonment, they certainly got lucky. Number 6. Trespassing satellites. Although civilians can drive up to the gates of Area 51, entering it would not be advisable. Trespassing may result in a $1,000 fine, 6 months in prison, or both. But that hasn't stopped Google. In 2016, Google Earth published satellite images of Area 51, including a landing strip nearby. The runway is about a mile long and there's a number of hangars clustered at one end. It is known that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense both use the site, and although there's no official explanation as to its use, security experts have suggested that it's a drone testing site. Number 7. Not so much of a secret. Area 51 was supposed to be such a secret that the Central Intelligence Agency didn't acknowledge its existence until 2013. And the only reason for the official disclosure was that, following the passing of the Freedom of Information Act, they'd no choice. Of course, no one was actually surprised. Area 51's existence had been known about for decades. Indeed, 20 years earlier, Larry King had hosted a documentary about it on network TV. Anyway, after the request, the CIA explained that the facility was used to test airplanes like the U-2 and the A-12, and also for research on behalf of the Atomic Energy Commission. Needless to say, there was no reference to extraterrestrials or UFOs. 8. Extraterrestrial dolls. When an aeronautical engineer with 40 years' experience at Lockheed Martin, who has 25 patents about laser-guided smart bomb systems, claims to have been involved with aliens, perhaps we should take him seriously. Boyd Bushman claimed that he'd helped extraterrestrial beings to implement anti-gravity technology at Area 51. He further stated that there were 2 types of alien, Wrangler and Rustler aliens, who could travel between Earth and their own planet in only 45 minutes. As part of his proof, Boyd Bushman published a photograph of one of the aliens. Unfortunately, it was actually identified as a plastic alien doll that could be bought at Walmart. Number 9. Synchronized hoovering. Imagine, if you would, 30 Air Force personnel, shoulder to shoulder, marching down a runway, hoovering it. It's like a bizarre scene from The Simpsons or from the British absurdist comedy Monty Python's Flying Circus, and yet apparently this happens nearly every day at Area 51. The Nevada desert is great for keeping the operations cheap and isolated. The weather is perfect for flights, and the flat lake bed is ideal for building runways, but it's so dusty that aeroplane engines easily get jammed. And for that reason, the base crew has to regularly sweep and vacuum the runways. None of them has ever said whether they enjoy the task, but they probably think it sucks. Number 10. Paradise Lost. What would be a good name for a dry, inhospitable place that tested weapons, including nuclear ones? Does the word paradise come to mind? In 1955, at the request of the CIA, Clarence Leonard Kelly Johnson, a brilliant American aeronautical and systems engineer, initiated the construction of an airbase at Groom Lake, Nevada. He realized that it might be difficult to entice scientists and personnel to such a barren location, and that's why he proposed that Area 51 should be called Paradise Ranch. But after complaints by disappointed recruits, it was renamed Area 51. He was justifiably famous for developing the Lockheed U-2 and many other supersonic aircraft, but perhaps his skills in PR were a little limited.